Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about scholarships, or grants, right, that you will really need, and they would really help you if you have any hopes or ambitions of attending a college and getting your college degree, pursuing higher education. So scholarships, right? Free money. They say there is nothing that's really free, but scholarship money is as free as you can get to once you keep your grades up. Obviously, it depends on if it's an academic scholarship or an athletic scholarship or a music scholarship or whatever it is. So we're just going to talk scholarships and how they can help you, and grants, and how they can help you with your college experience to make it a whole lot more simple, a lot more straightforward, all that sort of stuff. That's what I want to discuss today. So before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications because I post almost every single day. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and share. Those two things definitely help the channel grow. So I'll appreciate it if you do that. And then also you can leave your comments down below. All right, so scholarships. Well, that's how I really helped to pay for my college experience, right? Because college is really expensive, especially for me who started off as an international student and all that type of stuff. Before I later on changed all my status and stuff like that. But for someone who started off as an international student, because you pay twice or almost three times what obviously an American student pays for the class, which is why colleges and universities in the US and other parts of the world, especially here, that's why they love foreign students, because what you would pay, let's just put it this way, if an American student is paying $500 for a class, the foreign student is probably paying $1,500 for the class. So it's a cash cow for universities and stuff like that. That's why you see a lot of them would have those international programs and all that. Obviously, you get different perspectives from people from across the world and all that sort of stuff, but money does have something to do with it. All right, so scholarships. Now, as I've said, it's really what helped me. I pursued 5 degrees in my academic career, right? Starting with my associate degree all the way up to my doctorate and everything in between. So, I did some school, right? Obviously, I did some school. But when I calculate what I spent out of pocket, scholarship really covered probably about 80% of my 75 to 80% of my education. And so it's a big deal, right? It makes a huge difference in terms of, what you would owe after, what you pay out of pocket, all that sort of stuff. So there are different types of scholarships, right? Mine's were 98% was academic scholarship. And then the other 2% was really, I was in theater and I was in music. So I was in the performing arts as well. And so that helped me pay for, my college experience. I always love to say my college experience because I think it's an experience. It's not just an education, but it's an experience. So the performing arts, I was involved in the performing arts, so music and theater. All right, I was big into plays from a young age, right? Writing plays, performing in plays, singing in the choir, all that type of stuff. And so, that part has really kind of helped shape my life. But 98% of my scholarship was academic. So I was someone who kept, very good grades, obviously, to be able to get almost full rides for a lot of things. And so, that helped make my college experience a whole lot better. So when you are, now there are different types of scholarships I want to talk about. One would be, it might be based on your background, your ethnicity, right? Scholarships for African Americans, scholarships for just black folks, scholarships for Hispanics, for whatever the case is. There might be those scholarships out there. So if you fit into that category, don't be ashamed about it. Apply for the scholarship. Now, if go back and check out, I did 2 videos about community colleges. One, why I think it's best to start at a community college if you don't have money for a university. And 2, why to take into consideration transferring from from a community college to a university. But if you're one of those people who are going to transfer from a community college to a university, and that was something I forgot to say in that video, is you have to watch when you transfer, right? So, like the first scholarship I want to talk about is transfer scholarship. So, if you are at a community college or maybe another university and you're transferring to another university, most schools set aside their scholarships for academic scholarships for the upcoming calendar year. So what they'll do is they'll have, say in the spring, right, your spring semester, scholarship deadlines will typically close in February, March, or April. Usually by then, end of April, maybe early May, but really by March, April, from what I've seen, my experience is when most scholarships close. And then they award those scholarships over the summer, and those scholarships are awarded, but they're over the summer, but they cannot be used a lot of times until the upcoming fall and spring. So this is 2021. We're in the spring semester right now. If you were to be awarded a scholarship at a lot of universities after the deadlines close in March or April or whatever, then that scholarship money will be used in the upcoming academic year, right? So let's say they give you $10,000 in scholarship. It might be a situation to where you're able to use $5,000 in the fall of 2021 and then the other $5,000 in the spring of 2022. So if you're going to transfer, this is one of the biggest mistakes that I realize a lot of transfer students make. They just decide in the last semester, okay, well, I'm going to transfer here. And they get there's a different deadline. There's a transfer deadline and there's a scholarship deadline. So a university might tell you, if you're transferring to that university from another university or another community college, they might tell you that the cutoff deadline is July 1st of 2021, right? And you want scholarships when you transfer to that university. But the thing is, the scholarship deadlines for students at that school, unless they have a different transfer deadline, right? The scholarship deadline was, and a lot of times it matches up with the, or very close to the other scholarship deadlines. It might be in April, right? So although you got your application in before July 1st or by July 1st and you're accepted, you now might not be able to get any scholarship awarded until the following year, right? Because you missed this scholarship deadline that was in April. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make. So when you decide on transferring from a community college or from a university to another university, you got to realize a lot of scholarships are awarded in the spring of an ending academic year for the upcoming academic year. So you have to make sure that you get your transferring process done, all completed before the scholarship deadline at that university, because that's what you got to be concerned about. That's where you're transferring to. So you got to make sure that you have your application and stuff in, and you're accepted. Usually takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks depending on the school you're applying to, so that you can then apply as a student of that university, an incoming student, for their scholarships. That is a huge mistake a lot of people make, where they just transfer over but they've missed the deadlines for scholarships at that school. So some scholarships you might also be able to get at transfer scholarships. A lot of universities would make transfer scholarships available to help make their programs obviously attractive, so that you will choose them over another school. So there's also scholarships that you can look for as well. But if you are not transferring and you're at a university, then you've got to have your eyes open. Every department typically has scholarships at big universities, right? Even at community colleges. But every department at big universities are going to have some type of scholarship. So you've got to keep your eyes out. Usually they put them in the school paper starting at the beginning of a spring semester or a couple weeks in, letting you know that scholarship deadlines are coming up and these are all the scholarships that you can apply for. They'll also have them on the school's website as well, so that's another place for you to check. But there are a lot of scholarships that people don't think about. So there'll be general scholarships. As I said, there also might be scholarships based on your ethnicity and that type of stuff. There might be scholarships for international students as well, right? And there might be, besides the general scholarships that the school would have, a lot of times you can get a general scholarship and you can get a scholarship that's specific upon your major. So you also got to look to your department in your area or your school, depending on how big the university is. Look at the school where you're getting your major or the department where you're getting your major, and then see what scholarships they have on top of the general scholarships. And then another place you might be able to find scholarships would also be if you are to look at the Alumni Association, right? So when I worked at a big university, a lot of times the money was, a lot of people didn't apply for the money at the Alumni Association. They applied for the general scholarship, and they were much more aware of their department scholarship, but they weren't aware that the Alumni Association also offered a lot of scholarships. And that's just from people who've done really well in their life, they're successful, and they've given back. And so, and even at the university, right, this big university that I attended, even at that university, a lot of the scholarship money went back. You know why? Because people thought it was just too much maybe to write like a 2 or 3 page essay or 1,000 word essay about why they should get the scholarship or whatever the case is. A lot of times, a lot of the money went unclaimed. It is not uncommon to see scholarship money go unclaimed. So, when you're thinking that there might not be any money available for college, if you're maintaining pretty, a lot of times it doesn't even have to be great grades or outstanding grades. If you're doing decent, a lot of times there's a lot of scholarship available to you. But a lot of people, I realize, don't pay attention to that stuff. Well, I had to, because I was, broke and poor, and I didn't have a choice but to be looking for scholarships and be very inquisitive. But if you're trying to save money, if you're trying to have a better college experience, and a lot of that has to do with your finances, remember, you got to pay this stuff back if you're just relying on student loans, right? Scholarships and grants, you don't have to pay them back, right? So that might be an option that you definitely can take if you're trying to have a better college experience. Look for those scholarships, general scholarships, scholarships that are based on your ethnicity or your background or whatever the case is. Yes, scholarships for international students too. Scholarships that are specific to your major, and those are in your department. So those department or schools, some universities are so big they have their own school, right? Each like major has its own school or whatever. And then also the Alumni Association associated, a lot of times they have scholarships as well. And then obviously search the internet for other opportunities out there. A lot of employers would also offer to pay for your college experience, right, and your college education and your college experience if you work for them. So those are also that's another resource that you can look at as well. You've got to explore all these things. I know sometimes it seems like a lot of work, but it's well worth it if you are able to put together all of that. And you see, sometimes I've seen people be able to put together all of that, and they get so much in scholarship that it's paying. Obviously, a lot of this is based on you getting good grades, right? But they get so much in scholarship, and that they're able to not just pay for their tuition and fees or whatever the case is, but they don't have money to pay for their housing or their whatever, right? So it's really worth doing it. And then, of course, there are other types of scholarships. As I've said, I've had scholarships in the arts. So for being involved in choir and theater and all that type of stuff, that's part of who I am. I love that type of stuff. So I had scholarships with that as well. So that's something else to consider. And then also there would be scholarships obviously for athletics, right? So if you're someone and you have that athletic ability and you could make a team or an individual sport or whatever the case is, those are scholarships as well you can explore. So look, a lot of people I know are necessarily going to be athletic and all that type of stuff too. But as far as the general scholarships, the academic scholarships and all that sort of stuff, you take some time and look into that. It just helps so that you're not having to pay back $100,000, or you went to some expensive school and then all of a sudden now you have to pay $100,000, and and all you have is a bachelor's degree, but you have $100,000 in debt and all that type of stuff. So these are just things you have to consider, which is why I I've suggested starting at a community college, and because that could help make your experience a whole lot better. So I just wanted to talk a little about scholarships and all that. If there's any other topic you want me to discuss, please let me know. Just leave it in the comments below. You can contact me on my Instagram. My handle is below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Please turn on your post notifications because I post almost every single day, and then hit the like and the share button because those two things definitely help the channel grow, and I'll appreciate you if you do that. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch, and until next time, peace.